Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
It's Thanksgiving Eve. Wow.
It is.
It used to be one of my favorite days of the year. Then I grew old, and now it's just another day, sadly. Now I think I'm going to see Wicked 2 tonight in theaters on a night where I used to go to Kowloon and just get fucking absolutely obliterated and smash chicken fingers, and man, what a night it used to be. And now here I am going to see Wicked 2. I've never seen Wicked, so I have you seen? I feel like,
buddy,
no, do I need to see both?
Take it from you do not need to see both, and I stand on this take. I will die on this hill. You do not only do you not need to see the first Wicked, the second Wicked 2, albeit maybe not quite the same robust musical offerings. The soundtrack not going to get you up out of bed, and that's okay because Wicked 1 takes care of that. But Wicked 2, it as I say, it ties it all together. It gives you a perspective, and it allows you to watch Wicked 2 while almost simultaneously watching The Wizard of Oz together. And you're going to say, well, that doesn't do much for Wicked 1. Well, look, Wicked 1 gives you the idea of kind of how we got here, how they're all homies and blah, 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 right? Almost like the origin story, if you will. Yeah. But you know enough about that. And honestly, I don't. Whatever. For me, boring, to be totally honest.
Cool.
You're going to walk away from Wicked 2 going, oh, and you're going to be watching it going, hey, and you're like, I like this. You like it?
So like this endorsement from any other person would get me excited to go see it, but like you're high all the time, so like I feel like you're seeing it through a lens that I won't be seeing it through tonight. So,
but that has nothing to do with how, like, do you understand?
It's a performance enhancer. I feel like the movie is much more enjoyable to someone that's high.
Well, yeah, sure, but I mean, you can't just get on board with. You can't get on board with it being a sweet movie and already lock in mentally.
I wouldn't have agreed to go if I wasn't open to that possibility. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, so then open it a little more and don't go in there with a sourpuss. Got it? Be excited about what's going to potentially blow your fucking wig back.
The sourpuss isn't so much about going to see Wicked 2 as much as it is like, all right, different. I'm in a different phase of life right now if tonight isn't about going to Kowloon. Like when I tell you, Dallas, like, you know, when I started to get into like weightlifting and all that, it was to train for tonight. It was to show back up in Saugus at Kowloon so that everyone was like, damn, he fucking got big, huh? Like it was for tonight. That's why we train. And now it's like
for the loon.
Yeah. And now I'm not going by my own choice for anyone that's out there thinking, oh wow, like no, he's whipped. No. By my own choice, I left the boots and the hat in the middle of the ring, and I've retired from that chapter of my life now.
All I can hear is Bruce Springsteen lightly playing in the background right now. Glory days. Yes, yeah. Like if you could, you would kick open those saloon doors to the loon, and it would just fucking. The music would hit immediately.
Pass you by, glory days. In the blink of a young girl's eye, glory days.
I mean,
pretty sure it's November. Why is Jared shirtless in the loon? What is going on?
Like, it was always like a tight thermal, you know, like something that's gonna, like it's cold outside, but you're gonna see these striations. I promise
I tell you what, that was one of my favorite parts. Because I would go to Thanksgiving and shit with the girl that I was dating at the time, like in the minor leagues.
Yeah.
And like you just felt like, you know, you're just like kind of big dicking it walking around there like, oh, you just graduate a couple years ago? Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, me too. What do you got to go? Oh, no, I just said, paychecks to play baseball. That's all. Yeah, that's cool. And they're like, buddy, you're making $3,500 this year. Okay. And I'm like, yeah, but it's it's fucking paycheck to play ball. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, are you an A-ball? I didn't think so. Yeah, sure. I'll sign your fucking napkin.
Yeah, like, that check says Oakland A's. Doesn't matter how much it's for.
Yeah, like I made that on the way here, selling coke to all these kids that are going to be drinking their faces off illegally at this bar you're at, pal. So yeah, cool pro ball job. Nice.
Yeah, what a time, what an era. You know, it used to be a night of celebration. Now it's a night of remembrance for me. And it starts with Wicked 2 in theaters tonight.
Now, hey, I would strongly recommend the pink bubble gum, green apple Slurpee combo that will be available to you tonight in select theaters, of course.
I was gonna say, this out of all the theaters in this area, I venture to guess this is the one that doesn't have that. It's in a really rough mall.
I think you might be underestimating the power of the Wicked merch machine. Okay. Like as far as promoting this goes. Yeah. When you walk in, there's going to be a place where you can take a picture with Elphaba and Glinda, and you're going to
Elphaba.
Yeah.
Okay. What's Ariana Grande's character's name?
Fuck it. Glinda. That's Glinda.
That's Glinda. Okay.
Glinda. Not Glinda. Galinda. Galinda. Yeah, don't go throwing Glindas around, pal. You catch yourself bleeding in the street. You drop a Glinda on somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah,
you drop
excited.
a house on you, they drop a Glinda.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. This is gonna be fun.
You should dress up like one of the little monkeys.
A little short notice. I think the movie's at like 6. It's 12:32. Where am I gonna get a monkey costume?
I don't know. Just fucking try to get you in the spirit, dude. That's all.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like musicals. I'm open-minded. I'm going into this ready to rock.
Hey, that's I also went into it going like this. All right, when's the minute that I'm going to hear the first? How long is it going to take for them to break? Oh, well, fuck, that didn't take long. All right. I feel the same way. Like, get the song over with.
Yeah.
Give me more meat and potatoes.
Sure.
It's a great movie, though.
All right. Jayhay, you do any Wicked yet?
I think I watched part of the first one in the background while other people in my family were watching, but I'm not invested really either way.
Okay.
Probably won't see number 2 unless somebody else puts it on.
Sure.
Wow.
I'll let you guys know what I think of the second one on Monday.
I mean, if it blows your hair back, then maybe I'll get in there and check it out.
Sure.
Although we don't want. I mean, it's a nice new cut though, so we don't want to blow it back too much, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yes. Another side note: we had our underdog, I guess, team dinner last night. I would say we were working with like half the roster, but boy was it delectable. Went to Capitol Grill in Boston, and I feel like Dallas kind of set the tone for the boys in spring training. Just the way that he just was like whipping that menu around and ordering whatever he sought was something juicy, and that's what we did. I did the 14-ounce strip, medium rare.
Did you go bone in?
No, I didn't do bone in. It was great. It was a lot of meat. I ate it all. Had the lobster mac.
I ate it all.
Mashed potatoes, shrimp.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we get a seafood tower touchdown. Nothing. No seafood tower?
So like the seafood tower came up in conversation because that was your go-to.
Well, it's just it's how you start if there's 6 or more of us there. I mean, fuck, me and my buddy Dosky people look at us weird all the time because we're like, yeah, seafood tower. And they're like, are you guys expecting any more? No. Bring the fucking tower.
Yeah.
Don't ask any more questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a go-to.
Yeah, it was nice.
What about dessert? Dessert?
I did the chocolate cake, obviously. Some ice cream. Mm-hmm.
Hot lava? Chocolate lava?
No, it was like a flourless chocolate espresso cake.
Oh.
Yeah.
I guess.
It was nice. I really enjoyed it. Our waiter was the MVP of the evening. Like at one point, Mikey Eamon broke out into a monologue from A Bronx Tale, and the waiter came up from behind him. He didn't notice. He didn't notice the
Made
waiter
it about
behind
himself?
him. And he was like, "A Bronx Tale, huh?" He fucking nailed it. I mean, it was hell of the boys popped for it. Yeah, no, hell of an outing. Hell of an outing. Wish that you guys could have been there.
Well, I'm glad you guys
enjoyed it. Oh,
Yeah.
Simulation.
that was a little weird.
Mm.
I feel like weird now. I feel weird.
Hey, no, Jayhay, you want to know what that is? Said another way, Jayhay and I don't give a fuck. Don't care.
No, I mean, I would have.
Yeah, glad you enjoyed it.
Well, I care.
I said I wish that you were there. That's mean to say in response.
Oh. Well, no, you got our genuine response together almost at the same time.
The same time.
I was going to say simultaneously.
Well, shout out to Underdog for that great dinner. Underdog Fantasy is the easiest place to play fantasy sports. Playing their pick'em game is as simple as selecting higher or lower on player stats. You can make entries of all baseball, which is not being played right now, or you can mix and match across your other favorite sports. You can win up to 100 times your money, and it's a ton of fun. Make sure you sign up with the promo code Jared. That's JARED to get to $1,000 in bonus cash and a special pick on Underdog. That's Underdog Fantasy promo code Jared. Big trade yesterday, huh?
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, big trade. Huge. Some would even say it's for a number 2. Not me.
Well,
I'm not saying that.
Seems
Is
to
that
be a
how
lot
it's
of
getting
angst
billed?
over that point.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying you get paid to talk about baseball and you don't think that Sonny Gray is a number 2? No. Well, yes to the first part. Yes, I do get paid to talk about baseball. No to the part. No, I don't think that he's number 2. I don't. Not at this point in his career. No, he's 36. I think what the issue is. Here's what the issue is for me. In my mind, the number 2 for that I was promised this offseason by Craig Breslow, I thought it was going to be a cost control guy. He's like, I want someone that I can slot behind Garrett Crochet. I didn't realize that he meant for 1 year. You know, I wanted a guy that was going to be here for a little bit. And so it's like, could Sonny Gray pitch like a number 2? Yeah, absolutely. You can go out there, make 32 starts, give you 180 innings. I know he's a big FIP guy. Have a nice 3.2 something FIP, limit contact, swings and misses, no walks. That'd be great. But if my grand plan of having a number 2 or taking that next step, trying to win a World Series, if my number 2 is a 36-year-old Sonny Gray as my game 2 starter, then I think that that's a little disappointing is all. That's all.
Well, so when you look at the free agent market, is that a place where you feel like you can go and grab somebody that you would be comfortable with?
I mean,
because you're saying you're looking for cost control. So that would, I think, inherently say no to your answer, right? Is because in terms of cost control, you're going to have to sign a guy for multiple years, and that's not a cost control situation. We understand all that. So that's where I think you now have to start to understand that you're going to need Craig and company to get creative, right? You're going to have to start moving pieces around because you're now talking about the extraction of a cost control commodity from other places. And it's not something that's just kind of hanging out there on trees that you can go and take your pick from.
No,
you're going to have to identify. What's that?
Well, it takes 2 to tango. And that's where I go back to the Joe Ryan thing that happened at the deadline. And I think that the Twins really kind of strung the Red Sox along there. Hunter Green, I'd be surprised if he moved at all. Freddie Peralta, that's another, it's 1 year, so you'd have to sign him. There's no guarantee that you could sign him. So there's no perfect situation where it's like, why did you do this when you could have done that? I do think that if the Red Sox were to pursue a Joe Ryan trade again, well, now they have a little bit more leverage because the Twins can't be like, we know you guys want a number 2 and we have what you want. It's like, well, no, we're comfortable. That's at least publicly, that's what the Red Sox are saying. We're comfortable moving forward with Sonny Gray as our rotation addition. Now we're going to focus on the bats.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you just look at this as a trade and forget Breslow's comments and forget like the number 2, is he a number 2? Is he a number 3? Is he a number 1? Is he a number 4? Whatever. The headline for me, home run trade for the Red Sox. That to me, I think is the first takeaway to me, because they didn't give up anything.
Correct.
They did not give up anything, and they're not paying the full freight on his contract. So if I understand that context is important, and that if this is the only pitching addition or the main pitching addition, then it can be qualified as something of a disappointment. I understand that. But I think as judged on its own merits, until we see the rest of the offseason, my number one takeaway is that I think this was a no-brainer trade for the Red Sox.
Well, think about what you're like, and this is where, when you talk about what comes along with Sonny Gray, this is a guy who's going to take the baseball about as consistently as you could hope for, especially at this stage in his career, right? I mean, the last 3 years, it's 25 plus starts. I think you could say, since it was 28 a couple years ago, at least 28 starts over the last 3 years, 32 and 23, 28 last year, or in 24, and then 32 again in 25. So as I've kind of referred to them as the counterbalance, right? You know what you're going to get in Crochet. You've got a couple left-handers, a couple young left-handers that you're excited about, and I think you project what they could potentially bring to the table. And if you could plug in another, hopefully 160 to 190 plus innings or so, somewhere around there, now you start to feel pretty good about alleviating some of the stress in the bullpen and allowing those guys to settle in and be deployed in a way where you can preserve and you can watch them build and grow. Like there's implications beyond Sonny Gray not being a cost-controlled, clear-cut number 2 addition. I think, to Jay's point, looking at it through a completely different lens, you are happy with what he brings to the table right now. The fact that it's happening before Christmas is also something that I think
before Thanksgiving,
Boston Red Sox fans should say, you know what? I don't believe that this is going to just be it. I believe this is the beginning of understanding how we're going to move around.
Jayhay, we're smirking.
So I just think it's such a, probably not purposefully so, but it's such a hilarious move by Breslow to provide the quotes that he did before the trade that Jared referenced about a number 2 type starter, a guy who could start a playoff game for us, a guy who can slot in behind Crochet, and then go and get a guy who is such an eye of the beholder, depending on how you want to look at him, and depending on what your mood is or your perspective, is either definitely, no questions asked, a number 2 and probably a really, really good number 2. Or if you just look at some of like the more standard stats or his age profile or stuff like that, you start to be like, well, is this guy a 3, or like, wasn't he more like a 4 last year or something like that? And to just leave the fan base kind of wondering, in a sense, given how early this trade is made in the offseason, is not really important, but is kind of, I think, a little devious.
I think the comparison, I think Rob Bradford made this comparison, and it made me feel better about it. Isn't this basically what they did with Walker Buehler last year? Only you're getting a much better pitcher who has shown health in the complete opposite way that Walker Buehler has for the exact same price. The Cardinals are paying down the contract from 35 to 20, I believe is the luxury tax hit. So yeah, it's basically the Walker Buehler deal. It's a 1 year, $20 million right-handed pitcher that you're hoping best case scenario can be a front end of the rotation kind of guy for you. And I think the likelihood of Sonny Gray being that guy versus Walker Buehler in 2025 is much higher. So
Agree.
The way that it was broken down that way, yeah, I can wrap my head around that.
And that's why I mentioned the innings that you're getting, or hopefully getting, from Sonny Gray, is because if you're getting 180 innings out of Sonny Gray, then I think you can look at the numbers at the end of the year and say to yourself, he gave us a pretty good chance to win ball games every 5 days. Because you don't just back your way into an extremely unproductive 180 to 200 inning mark, right? Like, you have served a purpose because those innings, I think, especially as you start to get down to crunch time and we start to work through September, and if you're on any sort of run, well, you're not going to be given the leash that you would if you were just sort of trying to get through the season and finish ball games and eat those innings. So I think if he can continue to provide the value that he has in terms of accounting for outs, that is something all its own that brings value.
I also think, and I'm sure the 10 will have more on this, and Milliken will dig deep and stuff like that, but I do think there's something to the idea of, even though he's 36 years old, this is a guy whose profile, with some changes, might reveal a new look from what we got last year. Because, and I know the Andrew Bailey pitching lab is off talked about and stuff like that, but Sonny Gray's four-seamer was probably the worst four-seamer in terms of results last year that anybody threw with any sort of regularity. And if you kind of de-emphasize that, trash that, do whatever you want, like almost anything in place of the results of that pitch, where batters hit 370 last season, would be probably an idea worth pursuing. And you already have the sweeper for Sonny Gray. That's obviously a devastating weapon, whiff rate over 40%. There were 5 pitchers in Major League Baseball last season who threw at least 400 sweepers with a whiff rate of 40% or higher. The Red Sox now have 2 of those people coming from each side of the plate in Crochet and Sonny Gray. So there's like stuff to work with. He's changed his approach in terms of more strike throwing, more first pitch strikes, low walk rate, all that sort of stuff as he's gotten older, as he's lost some of that overall kind of devastating swing and miss. But I think I just think it's a no risk proposition. And I think the Walker Buehler is a good way to look at it.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to tell him to stop throwing his fastball as much. Like they're going to do so. That. Like I saw your slugging percentage against right-handed hitters statistic, which was alarming. But yeah, I think we are looking at a scenario now where the Red Sox, if they're still interested in trading for a starter, they can go into it with a little bit more of an upper hand, being like, you don't have us over a barrel here. Like, right, that we don't have to make this deal.
I think ideally that's where you want to be right now, is comfortable with what you have, but understanding you could get better. But if the trade market stops, if everything just stopped right now, do you feel okay about where you're at? I think the answer to that has to be yeah.
And Eno, just one final stat note in terms of optimism on the Sonny Gray trade. Eno, Sonny Gray's K- walk percentage, Eno noted that that's the most predictive, like kind of simple stat that exists for pitchers if you don't want to get too deep into the weeds. And Sonny Gray's was the 7th best among qualified starters and 5th best among right-handed pitchers last year. So, the age is always a factor. It can go at any time, but there's a lot more to suggest that Sonny Gray still has juice left as a number 2 than there is to suggest that he's finished as one.
Yeah. Command the baseball, baby. That shit matters. Talking about a dude who led the league in K to walk last year.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna maintain that it needs to be Bregman and there was Bregman is still a high priority, but I've heard that they've had some good meetings with the so we'll see how that goes.
Remains to be seen.
Certainly does. I saw this. Jayhay put this in the rundown about how Alex Rodriguez said that it's hypocritical that Bud Selig is in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, God.
Is he wrong, Dallas? Is he wrong?
Let's just unpack this a little here. And this is
right message, wrong messenger.
That could be one way. That could be one way.
I think that's what it is.
It's funny that the word hypocrisy comes up or even comes out of that man's mouth. But if you understand where his position is, this being Alex Rodriguez, I don't think the guy who suspended me for a record-setting suspension, I don't think that guy should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think that guy should be there at all. And you know what? Furthermore, completely unbiased take here, the commissioner who is letting me play all over this playground here and is letting me just enjoy every corner of his new sandbox, I think that guy should be given credit for saving the game of baseball. Call me crazy. Totally unbiased, remember. But yeah, the dude who suspended me for 211 games, no, that guy, shitbag, no Hall of Fame for him. Again, the dude who's looking the other way, and that guy saved baseball, I like him a lot. Oh,
Jayhay.
Tell us more.
Jayhay, what do you got?
Yeah. I think the great thing about ARod versus Selig is that it's one of those boxing matches that you just want it to happen, right? It doesn't really matter who wins. It's just that it happens and each side takes, something of a punishment, right? ARod is correct, of course, that it is hypocritical that Bud Selig is in the Hall of Fame. I believe I said as much within the last month on this podcast, so it would be even more hypocritical for me to say otherwise. Yeah, I do. I think the Manfred thing and his endorsement of Manfred in the Hall of Fame is simultaneously both more controversial and less controversial, because it's not controversial in the sense that, as we've talked about before, it's more likely that a commissioner is going to get in moving forward, I think, than they are not. And so ARod endorsing the current commissioner as somebody who should be in the Hall of Fame, I think is going to be a sentiment that's more endorsed than not. But it is also, it makes you feel kind of like bought and paid for in a little way, because like we all know what ARod's status within the game was before he was ushered back in, as Dallas said, into the playground and allowed to get back into playing. And it's just impossible to separate Rodriguez's banishment and his acceptance back in with how he feels about Rob Manfred. And I personally feel like while Manfred's candidacy will end up being a slam dunk, I think he'll just get in. I think it's a lot more complicated than that. And as always is with commissioners. And I just think it's kind of gross when ex-players do this. That's what it is. I just think it's gross. I think it's gross when they do this.
Yeah, I know like the right message, wrong messenger is kind of like what I'm going to go with here. But also like ARod felt very personally slighted when he got slapped with, what was it, 211 games originally that got reduced to 162. And he and then he went on like the Michael K show and was like, I didn't do anything. I didn't do any steroids, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is ridiculous. And he was like, Bud, he won't even agree to see me. Like, he wanted a one-on-one meeting with Bud Selig, and Bud Selig didn't even return his phone call. Like, it wasn't just a no. It was like, I'm not even picking up the phone. So yeah, like, I think beyond just the idea that how could the commissioner that knew that this was going on and turned a blind eye to it be in the Hall of Fame, but the players who participated are not allowed in the Hall of Fame? Not the best messenger to be carrying out that campaign, but like there is a personal vendetta that goes beyond that on ARod's side as well.
And that is something that, as much shit as I may talk, I still, without a doubt, have the ability to understand where that individual is coming from, because you feel like you've been leveraged to grow a sport, and you feel like your performance, albeit maybe allegedly enhanced at times, was something that was helped driving the train. And then once Bud Selig was able to get off the train at his desired stop, next stop Hall of Fame, he's able to kind of just do away with everything that helped get him there and almost turn around and go, well, and you know what? Like, as a keeper of the game, we can't have this kind of stuff going on. And it's like, you can understand how a player might look at that and go, hold on, you were completely and totally okay with this to the extent where you turned the blind eye and you watched all of this unfold. You received the benefits of what we had done, and now we're the ones left out in the cold? And you, not only do you not get left out in the cold with us, you get celebrated. You get dressed up like you're the fucking turkey on Thanksgiving. You get put in the middle of the table. We're all gathering around you. What? You know how fucking sideways that is? I'm the dude who hit the homers. I'm the dude who won the Silver Sluggers. I'm the MVP. I'm the guy with the fucking trophies in my case. What did you do? You watched it. You allowed it to happen. And now I'm getting railroaded. Now I'm getting blackballed. So yeah, you're damn right. I'll sue whoever I need to sue to get my ass back into this game. Because I sold out to this game. And maybe some say I sold my soul to sell out to this game. However you want to look at it. So I do have the ability to understand his perspective and other players that are in similar positions as him. I totally understand where they're coming from and why they would feel so taken advantage of. Because it almost feels like, dude, we all had this understanding. We all, like the dude who allows us to go out and do what we do, he was, if you don't want to say he was good with it, he wasn't terribly interested in making sure that this kind of shit wasn't happening. That's the least we could say about that. And now you want me to just stand idly by while I am not allowed to experience the ultimate glory and the ultimate acknowledgement and respect that I should be getting, that I undoubtedly get from the contemporaries that I played with. Because if it's just about skill set and talent, nobody's going to be taking away anything from these dudes that we talk about. Nobody. But if you want to get butthurt and you want to let the morality police roll in, well, now we can start to have that conversation. But until then, I would hope that I think other fans can also see it from both sides of the fence here. Because it is unfair to just railroad those guys and talk shit, but not be able to understand where they're coming from. That's intentional ignorance, and we don't get anywhere doing that. So if you're going to reserve an opinion, educate yourself on kind of why they feel the way they do.
Anyways, I'd vote for ARod. I'd put him in tomorrow.
Tough not to.
Yeah, very good player. I mean, did it do, this is a completely different tangent, but did it do anything for you, Dallas, that he was at 696 and he could have signed with some shit bum team that wanted to monetize the 700th home run, and he said 696 with the Yankees is more important than 700 with anybody else? Did that do anything for you in terms of like a character pivot?
I don't know. Well, this is something I think you also, if it was available to him to do it in a place that he would have liked.
I believe the Marlins were down. Like, he lived in Miami, from Miami, whatever.
Sure, but
there was, I don't think that there was like a prestigious team that would have come knocking to be like, hey, like the Red Sox want you to hit 700 with them. Are you going to do it? Like, that wasn't going to happen. But the Marlins were like, yeah, sure. If you want to do it at home, come do it.
And so I guess you have to ask yourself, based on what we know or what we understand about the individual's character to a public extent, because again, I have never sat down and broken bread with the dude, not interested in it, don't really care what else he has going below the surface, just don't care. So if he was looking at it from a perspective that said, you know what, the juice isn't worth the squeeze in terms of what I would be able to be getting out of this from whatever team I would be going to. Now, is he not doing it because he cares about the 696 with the Yankees? Or is it more of a, you know what, I just don't see the leverage play here for myself, so no, I'm good, 696. I don't want the narrative around my 700 plus homers to be that I only signed somewhere to come back and hit that number. And it didn't matter where
that would be
I
the
did
truth,
it.
And I feel like that's okay. No?
Yes. Yes.
That would be the truth.
But that's the whole point.
If he signed with the Marlins, I believe he called it a career sometime in August. So he had a month and a half to hit 4 homers. I think he could have done it. Let's say he did it. I think it would have been a sad celebration, because it's like, I'm celebrating with teammates that like were not with me on this journey. I'm doing it in front of fans that couldn't give a fuck about me. Yeah, like there's 11,000 people here. If he did it on the road, it's no different. Like, he was going to get booed anywhere. But let's just say he did it at home. It's like, none of these people were along for the ride for my, like, it probably would have been like a lonely feeling. It's like,
Well, the fans,
right,
the fans.
I got to the top of the mountain, the 700 milestone, home run milestone, but I mean, it's just me up here.
Yeah, because you're as a fan, what you're doing is going over all those impactful moments, right? Like, oh, you remember this homer, you remember that homer, you remember, and unless you are invested in that player's journey, then yeah, they're hollow. It's extremely hollow. But yeah, I think it's just disingenuous, like for folks to have an opinion on these individuals. It's disingenuous to not try to put yourself in their shoes and understand whether or not you agree with how things went. You have to understand where they're coming from. You have to understand their perspective and how they feel like they were leveraged and then left out.
Jayhay, do you have a thought?
No, I mean, I completely understand where ARod is coming from on the topic. It's not a lack of clarity on my part, and I understand why Bud Selig would maybe not want to pick up his calls when he was calling, in the shadow of the lawsuit and stuff. Like, I get it, and
according
I probably would have
the doc that just came out, Bud Selig's retort or response to not meeting up with ARod was that legally he was not allowed to.
I can't say one way or another. That sounds like it might make sense, though. But yeah, I think they're both. It's easy to understand their perspectives on the situations from their angle, but I don't find either of them to be sympathetic characters, if that makes sense.
That's more than
just
fair.
just a note here, based on according to Baseball Reference, every pioneer / executive that has been voted into the Hall of Fame received, and understandably so, no less than 75% of the vote. But there have only been 2 instances out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 instances in which a pioneer or executive has received a percentage of votes. Only twice, Bud Fowler and Walter O'Malley were the only ones to receive the minimum 75%. Everybody else received 81.3% or higher of the necessary votes. Bud Selig, just to throw that out there, who was voted in by the Today's Game Era Committee, did not have a percentage attached to his vote. The percentage of ballots.
Interesting. You know what else is interesting? The fact that Hal Steinbrenner said lowering the payroll would be, quote, ideal. This is the team that a winter ago was in the $700 million range for Juan Soto after giving Aaron Judge $40 million a year over 9. He would love to lower the payroll. So if that's what Hal is saying, he must have fucking hated Trent Grisham accepting the qualifying offer. It's like, we're paying him what? This guy? No. What happened to the Yankees? I don't want to go on like another tirade about this organization. I've done plenty and people think it's trolling, but it's hard truths. That's all it is. It's hard truths that I'm saying. But what happened to the organization that would sign whoever, whenever, at whatever cost, and just win championship after championship and have this melting pot of talent from across the globe? Like, oh, there's a star in Cuba. Guess what? You're a Yankee. Oh, there's a budding star in Japan. Yankee. Oh, there's a all-star MVP that's on a shitty team. Guess what, bud? Now you're a Yankee. Like, where are those Yankees? Is it really
gone.
just
those were your granddad's Yankees?
It is. It's George. George is gone, and so is that chapter of New York Yankees baseball. It's just not. It's not it. It's not.
Dare I say those were your daddy Yankees?
Oh wow.
Because that's not the current Yankees. That is
it's really not
singing a very different tune than Daddy Yankees.
Yeah.
Singing a very different tune these days.
Completely different tune. And I was on Talking Baseball this morning, and Jake and I were talking about this subject, about Aaron Judge specifically. And I said, it would really, really bother me because I, Facebook memories. I use the example of Facebook memories, and I said I was very, very outspoken about my hatred of the New York Yankees during their 2009 World Series run. But I ultimately said, you know what? It would have been weird if ARod didn't get one. It would have been weird if he had played his entire Yankee tenure and didn't win a World Series with them. That would have been odd. And now I'm starting to feel that way about Aaron Judge. As his age starts to creep up there, I think it would be like, of course, I don't want the Yankees to win the World Series. I'm a Red Sox fan. I don't want to see the Yankees win the World Series. It's awful. But that being said, if they happen to not grant my wish of never winning a World Series ever again, I think part of me, as they were celebrating, I would find solace in being like, you know what? Good for Judgy. Like, he got one for his legacy. He needs that. Not every player, like Griffey, never won a World Series. Like that was fine. Didn't get to a World Series. No one holds that against him. No one's like, yeah, but he never won a World Series though. Like, how often does that? It's always, if he stayed healthy, he would have been greater. Like, that's always the narrative with Griffey. But when you're a Yankee, the narrative always comes down to rings. You're always compared to Jeter. I mean, you can't compare yourself to like Yogi Berra and like the double digits, but like the standard is, I guess the modern standard is Jeter. Like, just win one, like he has to win one. And it's getting to the point now where between his age and the direction of the team, and now Hal being like, I want to spend less money on the roster, I'm starting to sit here and I'm getting a little concerned about it. That's all.
Well, like the window's closing, like he's not going to ever be able to put that last little ornament on. It's the star at the end of the decorating of the tree.
Yeah.
But to Jared's point, for it to matter for the legacy of Aaron Judge, it kind of has to happen while he is the dominant force on the team, right? Or a dominant force on the team. It's not if he wins a World Series at age 37 because he's still under contract with the Yankees, but is the third or fourth best offensive player on the team at that point. Like, that's not the same thing for a legacy building situation. So, like, in terms of windows closing, it's not closing because the Yankees aren't good. It's closing because his peak is inevitably going to stop at some point. And even if it extends a half decade, that's still only a half decade window to win a World Series while he's in his peak. And I know that Hal Steinbrenner's comments were a little bit more, it's not just that he wants to spend less money. It's that, would that be better? Yes. My question is, who is giving these fucking people media training every offseason? And particularly the Steinbrenner guys, the Yankees, because there's I know they have to answer questions. And so some of these quotes, a lot of them are responses to questions. They're not just blurting it. But like, I think at this point, we're probably good on hearing the Steinbrenner family say, we don't want to say we make money. I wouldn't say we make money. Let's not say that, and it's like, but buddy, nobody fucking believes you. And separately, nobody fucking cares. Like, even if you don't make, like, it's just, and then he's talking about, would we prefer to spend less money? Yes, of course. Don't say that. Don't say that. Like, why are you saying that? Of course, everybody knows that all of these people would spend less money if they could. Can you just answer the question in a way that makes you feel like you're operating with all of your brain turned on and know that these things are going to be clipped off and discussed like this? Like, the Yankees should be talking in a way that they are the class of Major League Baseball and are going to be at the forefront of these negotiations, even if they don't get all of these guys. It's just a weird way to constantly approach the offseason, where you're like battling against your own fan bases and your own history expectations for no gain that I can gather from a PR perspective.
Well, for me, it's a much bigger play, and it's a longer play at hand. Is I have to recondition a group of people.
Maybe you're right. Yeah.
I have to recondition you. So the only way that I can do my part is by continuing to ring the bell. And then I have to wait for you to start to correlate the ringing of the bell to the food. So if I continue to tell you that it's not a fruitful endeavor, and if I continue to condition you to hear us talk about dropping the payroll and getting to a place of comfort and working within parameters, a ceiling and a floor, then you, 5 years down the road, are no longer so staunch in your belief that it has to be this way, because you've been hearing me tell you over the last 5 years, there's got to be a change. If we're going to be successful, this is how it's going to be. So then when that finally starts to roll and we finally start to have that as a part of our working game now you're conditioned to expect what they would love to start doing, and that's operating on a completely different financial floor.
Yeah, it's just sad. I did see that, what you were talking about, Jayhay, where the Yankees were basically saying, you don't make money to own the Yankees. It's like, oh, we have to pay, what is it?
The city of New York, $100 million, whatever.
Yeah, it's like $100 million annually we have to pay. Like, fucking when, dude? Like, then don't own the Yankees.
It's that simple, right? Like, if it's this much of a burden, move on from the team. Like, just sell the fucking team and get somebody in there who has the ability to shoulder such an onerous burden like owning the New York Yankees.
Yeah. And I also just, again, I don't believe you that it's not profitable.
Right. I don't believe you that it's not profitable. And I understand that some of these generational owners who have been in the game are not wealthy in the sense of some of the people who are purchasing into the game are wealthy, right? Like, there are degrees of extreme wealth. And I understand that some of these guys feel more squeezed than maybe they did when George was flexing his relative financial might. I also just don't give a fuck, because when they sell the team, the valuation is going to reflect all of the money that they say they are not making in a year-by-year basis. And so that's the trick here that they're pulling on, and they do it every time, is, oh, we're making X number of $1 million. I mean, you see the Marlins numbers? Do you see that report on the Marlins numbers where it was like they are receiving something like $70 million in revenue sharing, and the CBA negotiated rule is that it must be, I think, 150%. Your payroll must be at least 150% of like the amount that you receive or something like that. And their payroll was $85 million last year, which is obviously not even fucking close to 100. Yeah. So received roughly 70 million, if not more, according to people briefed on the revenue sharing distributions. Public estimates put the Marlins' final luxury tax payroll in the $85 million range, well below 150% of its revenue sharing take. No other team is thought to be in the same position as the Marlins. So like they're basically putting the revenue sharing into their payroll and then calling it a day. Like, that's just what the Marlins are doing, and that's against the rules. Like, and there are grievances filed on this stuff. In that article, it goes on to say that there are grievances from, don't quote me on the exact years, but it's like 19 and 20, or 21 and 22 that are still pending. That nothing has happened. They're just like over here in a box. And it's like they haven't been shut down, but also the Marlins haven't been punished in any way. So why the fuck would they stop doing this if they know that, like, if any punishment happens, it's going to be so fucking far down the line and such a little slap on the wrist that it doesn't matter anyway. So we're going to keep running these bullshit payrolls that basically the other teams are staffing. They're paying their payroll. And that's the battle within the battle. Sorry, I know that.
No,
I
think it's fascinating. I think it's fascinating, and like, we're talking about a league with 30 teams. You mean to tell me that there aren't 30 individuals on this fucking earth that would love to own a Major League Baseball team, that would do it in a passionate way, where, like, I get it. I get one. You want to make a profit. That's the goal. Like, you should never own any business with the goal not being to make a profit. Totally fair. But just the whining from some of the owners about, some of them saying baseball players are expensive. Okay. All right. So then don't own a baseball team. That's fine. It's just, I don't know. It's very hard. Like, especially when we get into these labor negotiations, it's going to be very hard to hear from any baseball fan that sides with the owners over any alternative.
Well, and sorry, Dallas, go ahead. No,
I was just going to say
but isn't that where we're at? Isn't that where we're at with fans, though? Like, if fans are clamoring the way they are for the competitive floor and ceiling combination that they think is going to make things so much better, that's what they're doing. They are arguing for corporate America.
Correct.
And so there's no other. Like, these are the same people who are like, you know what? I love the way that our medical insurance complex is run in this country. That works out perfectly fine. I love the way that we're taxed in this country. I don't see any problems there at all, and I have no problem with the corporatized monopolies that are occurring in our country as well. More of those, please. Well, like, that's what I hear.
Well, and once you looked under the hood of the reporting, both from Passan and The Athletic, on the Pirates' spending and the Marlins' intended spending, it really was probably to get ahead of any potential grievances and to when we go into these negotiations or a work stoppage, other teams aren't looking at them and being like, you're not even spending your fucking revenue sharing money. I know we all want to get mad at the Dodgers. We're going to get mad at you for a second because you're not even spending what we give you. And so, like, even the idea that they're going to go out and get a Jorge Polanco, now I'm talking about the Pirates, or a Ryan O'Hearn, like, and that's being cast as wanting to maximize the window of Paul Skeens. Who are we fucking kidding? Who are we fucking kidding? You could add Jorge Polanco, Ryan O'Hearn, and Kyle Schwarber, and that's not going to maximize the window of Paul Skeens. It's about cutting off these potential grievances and issues from other teams. We all know that adding a Jorge Polanco or a Ryan O'Hearn is not going to meaningfully change the Pirates' ability to contend during Paul Skeens' window. It's just, there's so much going on, and I don't know. There's a lot of different directions these labor battles go. And I think these teams trying to spend money to avoid getting penalized for not spending money is just an underrated part of how fucked up this whole thing is.
Agreed. Yeah, there's things that have to be, I guess, put in more clearer language in the next CBA so that this doesn't happen, but I'm sure it will continue to happen. On the Mets, David Stearns. David Stearns says he will not run it back again. The trade of outfielder Brandon Nimmo to the Texas Rangers for Marcus Semien was the move that kickstarted this. Quote, it's a recognition that what we did last year wasn't good enough, and running it back with the exact same group was not the right thing to do. Semien balances our lineup from the right side, which is something that we're seeking to do. I mean, yeah, I feel like Mets fans knew that this was coming. We obviously talked about the Nimmo trade. Yeah. We had Clem on, but yeah, sometimes you do see that with teams where they fail and they run it back. It's like, well, you know, we'd run this simulation 10 times. We'd probably win 7 of those. And they're stuck in their conviction of that. But I feel like with the Mets, yeah, probably the right call. Probably the right. It was time to shake things up, and I think that. So,
isn't it interesting though? Isn't it interesting that we're having this conversation about payroll with the Yankees and them identifying or just even entertaining the idea of a floor and a ceiling, operating within a finite constructed space, and then we have the Mets, who spin the way they do and are saying we can't continue to run it back like this. And whatever they mean by that in terms of whether it's spending, actual roster construction, in terms of personnel, doesn't that sort of set the example or give you an example of, hey, if the Yankees spend like the Mets, it clearly does not guarantee the success that their fans are clamoring for, and that the Yankee fans have come to expect for whatever reason at this point in time. So, I mean, are the Mets wrong? Like, can you get mad at the Mets for not wanting to spend in a way that I think to an extent could become reckless? Isn't that what the owners who are talking about not wanting to spend like this are saying? Is you can spend like Stevie Cohen, but you can lose like him too. And nobody else is spending like that, and we're losing. He's spending like nobody else is, and he's losing. So what would you rather do? Would you rather spend on a level that nobody else even can and lose just like the rest of us? Or would you like to find a space that you can operate in where you feel like you're not taking the hit that he is when you don't get the trophy at the end of the year?
Jayhay?
On Stearns, I agree that they could not possibly run it back, at least in full. And in terms of the Cohen stuff, I just I wonder, I'm very interested to see what the post-Soto trajectory of spending and investment on the Mets looks like, because it feels like what their goal is, and particularly with their hiring of Stearns and all of that, is to become like the Dodgers, New York, right? And if for those of us who are old enough to remember, everybody on this podcast certainly, when the Dodgers ownership transitioned from the McCourts to the current ownership group, it wasn't everything is fixed in one day. It wasn't we're going to do all of this in a steady, just straightforward manner. It was we're gonna spend big to supplement while we build up the infrastructure behind. And then once the infrastructure behind starts to hit, then our spending is going to be maybe a little bit more, not streamlined, but more targeted. So I'm just kind of interested, they have Soto in-house, they have the big ticket, and now where do they go from here? Obviously with the combination, and that's what's always been so fascinating about the combination of Cohen and Stearns is that, and the same thing with the Dodgers ownership and Friedman, really, when he first got over there, was that you're taking a small market, a mind that has been constrained by his market, and you are putting it in a situation where he is significantly less constrained, but still has sharpened himself to because of his previous constraints. And the push and pull of the wealth and the efficiency and the approach is just something that I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out moving forward.
Well, I mean, let's just remember, we know that Steve Cohen is a collector of things, right? I would hate to think that Juan Soto, at the end of whether it's I think Mets fans, based on how they've seen him be willing to spend, would like to think that Steve Cohen's going to be around for a long time, is going to maintain ownership of this thing for a long time. And if that's the case, I think it's fair to say that Steve Cohen is a collector of rare items. And I think at the time, Juan Soto was a wonderfully prized piece that Steve Cohen wanted. He went and got him. So when you ask what's he willing to spend, or what does the spending look like as we come closer to the end of that contract and maybe after the Juan Soto, I'll remind you, Steve Cohen just sold a gold toilet for about $12 million. That's the kind of shit that he's willing to go and spend money on. What could $12 million buy you in terms of a roster spot, in terms of productivity for your roster, whether it's offensive, on the mound, whatever. But my point is, he's got the money to spend however he sees fit. It's about plugging it in the right spots. So I would like to think that nothing changes, especially if they have success during this window of Soto.
I like the question of what does the spending look like post Soto though, because they can't. I mean, I think once, because I remember when Steve Cohen first bought the Mets and KFC was going crazy, be like, he's going to sign everybody. And it's he did spend a fuck ton of money on Juan Soto, but it's not like they're going to go out there and sign Kyle Tucker. They didn't sign Shohei Ohtani when he was a free agent. They didn't go after Yamamoto and give him an offer that was $100 million more. It's not like he's spending recklessly all the time. You can make the case that the Soto contract was a little reckless, but I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to see how the Mets are going to operate from a financial standpoint. But the assessment that they couldn't move forward as constructed in 2025 is 100% correct. And another thing that to keep an eye on, see how they move. Speaking of Shohei Ohtani, last but not least, I was curious to see if he was going to participate in the World Baseball Classic. I don't know how what the Dodgers said to him, if they're not going to tell him if he can or can't, but I'm sure they could strongly suggest he doesn't. And Shohei, if that were the case, Shohei said, I'm not interested in that conversation whatsoever because he will be playing for Team Japan in the World Baseball Classic. I mean, I don't trust these big organizations to not have some sort of workaround and be dude, like, we'll pay you if you like to, just from a marketing perspective, how like the difference of Shohei participating and not participating has to be the difference of like tens of millions of dollars.
And that is why, Jared, you would have to think, and I look at it maybe through a similar but different lens, just shaded slightly different, where you think the team could actually come in and say, hey, maybe not. I think this is where it's the team and the bigger team, if you will, the baseball team, meaning Major League Baseball. I think it's those two understanding, we know what your dude is worth. You know what your dude is worth. Collectively, we know what our dude is worth. Are we on the same page here? So we have to make sure that we get this bull to show. He's got to be there. We have to put him on display. We cannot show up to this thing and not have him there, okay?
Yep.
So how are we going to do that? Not if we're going to do that, how are we going to do that? But I think it's just as simple as Ohtani loves the game of baseball, and Ohtani wants to play and wants to represent his country, and everything that we're talking about is just a footnote, really, in what would the impact be with a Ohtani-less WBC, with a Ohtani-less Japan team, right? Still a very, very formidable opponent. But in terms of the needle mover, like Ohtani is the drink, Ohtani is the straw, Ohtani's the stool you're sitting on, Ohtani's the bartender you're getting it from, and Ohtani is the establishment in which you are drinking that drink with the straw in it that you got from the bartender. He's every fucking bit of it. So don't forget that. Not even for a second.
Anyways.
Hey!
Welcome back to Baseball is Dead Family Feud. I'm your man, Justin Havens. We've got a very special Thanksgiving edition for us lined up today. All 5 questions are Thanksgiving themed. This could prove painful for people with limited culinary experience. I don't know. That doesn't apply to anybody. I believe we are going with Dallas first, Jared second. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pop that top, Jay. Look at him looking so fresh and clean with that cut, dude. All right.
Got them ears lowered, little fella. Good for him.
You are you ready? You feeling all right today?
Fucking locked and loaded.
All right, brother. All right, let's get going. Dallas has got important things to do today, the day before Thanksgiving. Question number 1, as always, it's out of 100 BID fans. Thanks to the Discord. Here are the results. Question number 1, Dallas. Name the best Thanksgiving side, a.k.a. not the turkey.
Stuffing.
Question 2. If you aren't doing turkey, name the best main course option for Thanksgiving.
Prime rib.
Question 3. Name the best pie, dessert pie, so that people aren't putting fucking pizza, but name the best dessert pie to have at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's got to go pumpkin. You got to go pumpkin.
Question 4. Name the number of federal holidays that are better than Thanksgiving.
Ooh, 3.
It's tough. It's tough. I don't know that I can name all of the technical federal. Question 5. Good luck on this one. This is tough, but you're doing fine so far, so don't worry. How many of Auntie Carol's famous meatballs will Jared eat on Thanksgiving?
6.
All right. Good job, D. Let's see what
Gerard. He got a text.
Uh-oh.
Hey.
It could be anything.
No, you got to text. I texted us.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I've started to try to watch so I can pay attention, but then I don't want to read lips and shit.
Right. That's fair.
Hello.
Hey, how we doing?
Hello.
How are you?
Fine. I think Dallas is feeling pretty good here. Let's see what we
He
got.
needs to feel good because I don't know that I'm going to be able to contribute at all to this discourse.
Well, I what I tried to do was knock out the cliches so you could have a chance to be creative.
We are in what I would call arguably a perfect spot here. Dallas has 114 points. So he has gotten us over the hump, but Jared needs to deliver a robust 86 to make sure that this ends in a winner. And I do think you heard me, but they are all Thanksgiving themed today.
I did hear you, yeah.
Okay. And as always, it's out of 100 BID fans. Shout out to the Discord. Are you ready, sir?
I suppose I am, yes.
Question number 1. Name the best Thanksgiving side, a.k.a. not the turkey.
Fuck. Mashed potatoes.
See? There we go.
Stayed calm, collected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Question number 2. If you aren't doing turkey, name the best main course option for Thanksgiving.
Prime rib. Fuck. Fucking ham. I hate ham. I don't like ham.
Name the best dessert pie to have at Thanksgiving.
Chocolate. Dude, I don't fucking... Dallas, shut the fuck up. You know I don't eat pies.
Question 4.
Pie?
Name the number of federal holidays that are better than Thanksgiving.
3. Fuck. 2.
And question 5, how many of Auntie Carol's famous meatballs will Jared eat on Thanksgiving?
Ooh, I'm going to say 10.
Okay. All right, let's get to it here. Question number 1, name the best Thanksgiving side, a.k.a. not the turkey. Dallas came through with the number 1 overall answer, stuffing/dressing. I know some people will say that's not exactly the same thing. It is for the purposes of here. 41 points. That was the number 1 overall answer. Jared, after some consternation, came through with mashed potatoes. And goddamn, is it good. He took a second to think about it. Second overall answer, 37 points. You guys have 78 through the first question. The drop off from mashed potatoes to the number 3 answer, which is mac and cheese, was 30 points.
Wow.
Yep, only 7 for the number 3 answer. So you guys did what you had to do on question 1. If you aren't doing turkey, name the best main course option for Thanksgiving. Dallas said prime rib. That was the number 2 answer, 10 points. The number 1 answer, Jared hates it, but he loves this point total. 58 points for ham, baby.
God.
58 points for ham. Oh my God.
Wow.
That's all. We're up to 136 points through 2 questions.
Jeez.
The drop, ham was 58, prime rib was 10, and then steak, which I was kind of hoping Jared would get, was 5.
You're an asshole.
Well, you know, whatever.
Write that down, Dallas. He openly just admitted to rooting for us to fail, by the way.
Yes.
Well, not fail overall, but...
have you been hearing the questions the past 3 weeks? It's obvious he's rooting for us
Name
to fail.
the best dessert pie to have at Thanksgiving. Dallas, with the layup, went pumpkin. 38 points, though, and objectively the correct answer. So we're up to 174 already. Jared said chocolate. That's the number 4 answer. It's going to get you only 3 points, though. So we're up
Still
to 170. You did still get points.
Got points.
Apple, and
feel
pecan.
Like I should get a pass for chocolate by unlocking the ham.
No, that was huge.
Point total, yeah.
A lot of people are going to be talking about that. Pecan, which is the one I'll be having, came in 3rd at 17. Shout out to Susie's famous pecan pie. And just want to note, I mean, apologies ahead of time to Mrs. Carabas for this one, but I do feel editorially obligated to mention that Ellen's cream pudding received 1 vote.
I'm sorry?
Ellen's cream pudding received 1 vote. So I've never had it, but I mean, it would seem remiss not to mention it if it's being called out.
I don't know.
Strong recommendation.
You know what? I don't think that she makes a cream pudding. I've never seen her make it.
Oh gosh.
Well,
then I've got more questions, but we don't have time to ask them right now.
I feel like I'm in the layup line right now. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'll let the other kids play. Yeah.
Only 1 point, so good thing neither of you guys answered Ellen's cream pudding, but
sure.
You would technically have gotten a point. 177, we need 23 points. Name the number of federal holidays that are better than Thanksgiving. Dallas said 3. That was the number 3 answer. 15 points. That gets you up to 192. Jared said 2. Hit the music. You guys did it with a question left yet again. So that was worth 20. That was worth 27 points. So you clear the bar. Just for fun, the Auntie Carol's famous meatballs question. Dallas had you eating 6, so I think he was calling you a little bit of a pussy.
What do I have, a tummy ache?
Yeah,
6.
Little Jared ate 6 meatballs.
Yeah.
That was worth 10 points, though. So the Discord was in alignment with that. That was the third most common answer. Yep. You said 10.
Mm-hmm.
That was worth 14 points, the second most common answer. So you guys actually did incredibly well on that question, had it come down to that, because there were about 24 responses that came in. The number one overall answer, 25 meatballs.
25? They're not they're not little meatballs. Like they are...
No.
They're the size of pool balls.
Well, 19% of the Discord, 19 people said that you were going to eat 25 Auntie Carol meatballs. So just give it a shot.
I would die. Yeah.
Billiards, the size of a billiards ball?
Yes. Yeah. Like if they were like when you get like a meatball sub, like those are little meatballs. Like, yeah, I could probably eat 25 of those. But like it's the size of like an 8-ball.
Well, see? Dinner with Auntie Carol, folks. OnlyFans. Not the only place where you can see Jared with a mouthful of meaty balls.
Wow.
Auntie Carol's dinner table as well.
I weighed myself yesterday, Dallas. Guess what I'm clocking in at these days?
Does it start with a 2?
Not yet.
Buddy, you are looking a little fluffy around the gills. Just going to throw that. I'm going to say 193.
193 is correct.
Whoa, look at that. Look at that.
Yeah. Weighing it out. This is the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I'm doing great. I got trained on the meal prep. She's taken on that assignment now, so she's meal prepping for me, working out 6 days a week, 5 meals a day, supplements. Yeah. Fucking Auntie Carol's meatballs are about to put me to 195. I'm feeling it. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna come back from the holidays. I'm gonna be like, guys, I'm 206.
Burping up your BetterHelp ad read.
Yeah, especially after last night. Last night I probably ate like 3 pounds worth of food, so I probably came home at 196.
Good to hear.
Yeah, the road to 200, it's a motherfucker, but we're gonna get there. Yeah, for anyone that's listening, I know Dallas calls me fat all the time. I'm trying to gain weight. I'm trying to get up to 200. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get up to 200.
Elevator's going up.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it that lower half though. No one wants to talk about it right now, but
look out.
Yeah, no one wants to talk about it, but a lot of that extra weight that's coming in from the meaty quads down below deck.
Well, you and your quads have a fantastic Thanksgiving.
We will.
Jayhay, happy Thanksgiving to you and the family as well. I know that you've got award-winning nugs. I have to hit the road. I've got to get to a lab sesh here very quickly. So
okay, you do that. Who is
I am gone.
Can you say?
No, it's my nephew actually.
Oh,
yeah. So not an interview for the slab lab, but it is. Yeah, it is a slab lab sesh, but a real world slab lab sesh.
All right. Well, you
all right, boys.
That.
Happy Thanksgiving, Discourse. Fucking Dallas. Wear that. Enjoy your chocolate pie.
Jayhay, any award-winning nugs today?
Yeah, we're going to stick to Sonny Gray. Got 3 nugs for us. The gap between Sonny's ERA 4.28, and his FIP, which was 3.39, was the fourth largest in that direction for any qualified righty in 2025, behind only Sandy Alcantara, Brandon Pfaadt, and Dylan Cease. So again, if you're looking for optimism on a bounce back, that would be one. We'll go negative here before ending on a positive. Highest career ERA at Yankee Stadium with 100 career innings pitched at the stadium. Sonny Gray's 6.06 ERA is the highest. Marcus Stroman at 5.83, Jabba Chamberlain 5.19, and former Red Sox David Price at 5.11. And then if you look at all of the pitches thrown in 2025 that had a batting average allowed of 150 or lower, a whiff rate of 40% or higher, and was thrown at least 500 times by a starting pitcher, that list is 6 deep, and it is Edward Cabrera's curve, Carlos Rodon's slider, Kodai Senga's forkball, Yoshinobu Yamamoto's splitter, Garrett Crochet's sweeper, and Sonny Gray's sweeper. And those are the Nugs.
Wow. Elite class, some would say.
Elite class?
Yeah.
Oh, like the pitch?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No question. Yeah. We saw Yamamoto's splitter when we most recently watched baseball, and that was obviously a magical pitch. But in terms of like swing and miss rate and I know Senga's season went off the rails last year, but since he came over to Major League Baseball, his forkball has been as devastating. It's basically been as unfair of a pitch as exists in baseball.
The ghost pitch.
Yeah. And you are intimately familiar with Garrett Crochet's sweeper. So yeah, these are, I know Edward Cabrera's curve, it's like, okay, kind of whatever to a casual fan, but this list is the list of of 6 of the 10 or so most devastating individual pitches in terms of quantity of thrown that exist in baseball. So it's kind of exciting to see the Red Sox staff get a hold of Sonny Gray with that weapon intact, and all the other stuff we talked about as reasons for maybe a little late career resurgence or renaissance.
Yeah. Final thought. Something else I talked about on Talking Baseball this morning was I'm addicted to streaming, and it has been a lonely few weeks here without it. Hoping to get back to it next week. Yep. With a classic rewatch. I don't know what game yet. I don't want to know. I literally want to roll up to the stream and be like, all right, I want to find out when I lock into the stream is what game we're watching.
I wonder, because we're going to want to build promo assets beforehand. So you not knowing is fine. But I was going to say we could have Dallas just like spin the wheel on the stream and then we just pull up that game. But that's probably a little too loose. But yeah, we should, if we want to have Dallas spin that thing, that's great. Otherwise, Jake can decide, or we can decide as a group behind the scenes without telling you.
We can log on to the stream and then do the pong ball drawing on the stream.
Right. My concern with, I love that idea. My concern, and maybe you don't care, and that's fine. My concern is that in the promotional assets, like if we want to build a graphic beforehand, because I figure we're going to build out a schedule for this, right? And we're going to, once we get going, we just wouldn't know what to put on there other than come join the stream, which maybe if we will pick the game live on the thing.
I think that's the
now
draw.
We're talking it out. That's the draw.
Yeah. I feel like people will show up early because they want to see the draw, and then they'll be locked in for the game. Yeah.
And then that's
how we do it.
And that would kind of eliminate your concern from last pod, right? About what game do we pick to make sure that we're drawing in an audience, because the team that lost isn't going to want to watch their team, the heartbreak over again. But if you're just drawing in people who are genuinely intrigued by the idea of watching a throwback game, I think most of them won't leave if the game that's pulled up is like, I'm not going to leave if it's like 2016 Game 7. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's the draw. I think that's the gimmick. I
love it.
We randomly select a game on the stream and then just get right into it.
I'm sure Jake will make sure that that's possible from a production end, but that sounds awesome. I love it.
Yeah. All right. Is there a night in mind that you had?
I would say I mean, selfishly for me, just not probably Tuesdays because my daughter has dance on Tuesdays. But if we make it late enough, if we make it like 8 o'clock, it literally doesn't matter what night we do it. So I guess no, I don't care.
All right, perfect. We'll figure it out. We'll probably announce it on the Monday episode of BID.
Love it.
But yeah, stay tuned for that. Very excited. Everyone, enjoy your Thanksgiving. We're thankful for all you guys all year long supporting us, listening to the show, watching the streams, engaging on social media. We appreciate all the love, all the support as we head into 2026. Have a happy and safe Thanksgiving holiday, and we'll see you guys on Monday.
We go.